ago, it was asked of me yesterday after that video that I did about to talk about getting burnt or not getting burnt on surveillance. In my opinion, if you do a surveillance more than 4 or 5 hours and there's been no activity, you want to leave. I know a lot of people, oh, you want a full day. If there's nobody there, no cars in the driveway, nobody's come out, depending on what time you get there, obviously. If you're, most smart people will do surveillance from either 6 or 6:30 in the morning till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. If they're not out, they're done. As far as getting burnt on surveillance, sometimes you just can't help it. If nobody parks on the street and you're the only car on the street, you're obviously going to get burnt. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that. The ways not to get burnt, obviously you want to check in with the police department. Whether they care or not, check in with them anyway. But ways not to get burnt, obviously, is not to do it 2 or 3 or 4 days in a row. Not to, if you're going to do it Monday, wait till Thursday or Friday. Or if you're going to do it, Tuesday, go back again on a Saturday. If you can and you have the ability to switch cars, great. But most people don't have the ability to switch cars. Park far enough away from the subject's residence that you can still see it, but do not park, where you're going to get caught. We've had a couple where we've gone out several times. I think we've probably done one 20 or 30 times. And eventually on the 29th time, we got burnt. And there's really no way around it because you can't really switch cars. Obviously, if your state allows it, try to tint your windows. There's little tips and tricks I could offer you. If you're into surveillance, I'd be happy to offer them to you. Things like changing your costume or your appearance, putting shades in your window and being able to see in and out your shades. If you're in a van, using curtains. I'm of the old school where I don't think you should use a van. That's the first thing people are going to be looking for, is a van, in my opinion. But you're going to get burnt. A good investigator will get burnt. If you don't get burnt eventually, then, you're not a good investigator. At least in my opinion, you're not a good investigator. You're going to get burnt. You always want to look at your address beforehand before you go out there and try to get some spots. I mean, obviously, there are some times where you can't park, in the middle of Pennsylvania or the middle of West Virginia or certain spots in Delaware. You can't park on main highways. You're just going to have to drive back and forth, and that's the best you're going to do. But be honest with your client. When you get there and you see that, either call them or email them and say, look, there's no place for me to park. All I'm going to be able to do is drive-bys, or I'm going to have to park the street, down the street. Hopefully I'll see them. I need your permission to find out what kind of vehicle they operate so that I can know what I'm looking for, those sort of things. So, look, if you're going to do surveillance, don't have expectations that we're going to get you results every single time. It's not going to happen. If you're going to have somebody do surveillance, forget everything you've seen on the television as well. Investigators are not going to go through red lights. They're not going to blow stop signs. They're not going to, break the rules and, get, blemishes on their driver's record either. So keep that in mind. As far as surveillance, we cannot put GPSs on cars. We are not supposed to put trail cameras on properties. Unless I get permission from the property owner, that telephone pole belongs to the electric company or the telephone company, the cable company. I can't put a trail camera there. I just can't do it. I've known a couple people that have gotten arrested for doing that. So, like I said, keep in mind that this industry is not like television. It's very fickle. You have to speak your mind. You have to act on your feet, act at a minute's notice. So, surveillance is not for everybody. Unfortunately, some people, aren't adrenaline junkies like my John. Jesus, he gets the thrill out of sitting and doing surveillance. And he could talk about this for days. But a good surveillance person will get burnt. A good surveillance will always have an exit strategy. A good surveillance person will also, check in with law enforcement so there isn't a problem. If you have anything else you want me to chat about, I'll be happy to chat about it. I'm trying to keep my videos 5 minutes or less and educational. So have the rest of your day.